item and would be used for improvement to DPS property. I'd ask the body for your support.
Further discussion, further debate on the amendment? If not, the question before the House is the adoption of Amendment A1. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment's adopted. Representative Harrison recognized to send forth Amendment ABA 44. Clerk will read.
Representative Harrison moves to amend the bill.
Lady has the floor to debate the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, so I think most of this bill is great, but there is a specific provision in the bill dealing with wood residuals. And this is a section that has to do with weight exemptions. And just on the philosophy of whether or not this is good policy, those of you who have been around a while, back in 2006, the News and Observer did an excellent investigative series on the exemptions we're building into our statutes, and specifically referenced giving big trucks breaks on weight. And the reason why this is important is we have weight limits because of the impact on our roads, state roads and county roads, and ultimately the breakdown of those roads is borne by the local taxpayers and state taxpayers. So on that point, I am opposed to us extending this weight exemption anymore. There's a current weight exemption in our statutes for weight residuals, which includes what you would think of as wood residuals, which is wood chips, bark, dust, that sort of thing. But what this definition does is extend wood residuals to include wood pellets. And that is very different. Wood pellets are not a residual. There's actually a whole industry built around wood pellets. And the issue is that, I mean, they come from whole standing trees, and this has been very controversial for the communities that live around these wood pellet facilities. It's a real environmental justice issue for communities of color, particularly in eastern North Carolina. Many of them have been up to this legislature to visit you all as their constituents to talk about what this has done to impact their lives. And I would just quote from a few people. They talked about how it's just destroying their county roads, the noise, the dust, the debris flying off when they're driving down these county roads. It's a real problem. And I am sorry that I didn't have more time to work this it's but it was just added to Judiciary 1 yesterday, and there hasn't been it hasn't been out much for us to discuss it on our House side. So it's, but I did talk to the bill manager, and I let Representative Smith know that I was going to run this amendment, and I've been talking to DPS. But I really would like your support on this, because just the main point is these weight exemptions are a problem for taxpayers in at the county and state level. The wood pellet industry does not need this break, and it's not residuals, and it's significantly impacting the communities where these plants are located. So I would urge your support. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Mecklenburg, Representative Autry, rise?
To debate the amendment.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I wholeheartedly agree with my colleague from Guilford County. And if you've been around anywhere where these kinds of operations, not just wood pellets, but heavy tractor and trailer trucks moving across roads that are not really designed for that sort of use, it causes havoc on those roads. And those roads are the responsibility of the local municipalities to deal with it in most cases. So I would ask for you to support this amendment. But certainly, I also, regarding the wood pellet industry, I don't think there is a problem with them getting product to these processing plants. They seem to be moving that stuff pretty well, and if you go and look at where they're deforesting a lot of the buffers that we need to help mitigate damage from storms that come ashore, I think you would appreciate that the wood pellet industry is doing just fine without this added incentive to help them even more. So please support the amendment. Thank you.
Gentleman from Pender, Representative Smith, is recognized to debate the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is going to go to conference. It's already been changed. This is something that's going to be discussed. I thank Representative Harrison for letting me see the amendment, knowing what it was. I would ask the body vote the amendment down. It is something that we've also found potentially another technical issue that's in that very same section. So it's going to be looked at. Be glad to speak with Representative Harrison more on it. I'd ask you right now to take the side of what the Highway Patrol has asked us to do and vote down the amendment.
Further discussion, further debate? If not, the question for the House is the adoption of Amendment A2. Those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will open the vote. Chair's going to inquire because Chair noticed that Representative Harrison is voting against her own amendment. I don't think that's what she probably intended to do.
I'm so used to voting no. I'm sorry.
And the chair is going to ask, did Representative Brisson intend to vote against or to vote for the amendment? And Representative Robertson, you're showing as a no vote. Did you mean to vote no? Okay, you've changed it already. See, I know how y'all think. Clerk will lock the machine, record the vote. 40 having voted in the affirmative, 65 in the negative. The amendment is not adopted. Further discussion, further debate on the bill. If not, the question before the House is the passage of Senate Bill 171 on its second reading. Those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. The clerk will open the vote. Mr. Clerk, please show Representative Lowry excused for all votes today. Representative Longus, gentlemen wish to vote? Clerk will lock the machine and record the vote. 91 having voted in the affirmative and 14 in the negative. Senate Bill 171 passes second reading without objection. Will be read a third time.
The General Assembly of North Carolina enacts.
Question for the House, passage of Senate Bill 171 on third reading. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Senate Bill 171, having passed its third reading, is ordered to return to the Senate unengrossed. Senate Bill 389, the clerk will read.
Senators Hayes, Mayfield, Senate Bill 389, a bill to be entitled Parent Consent to Donate Blood Technical Corrections. The General Assembly of North Carolina enacts.
Who's handling this bill? Representative Lambeth, I believe this is the gentleman's bill. The gentleman is recognized to debate the bill on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'll walk this dog. This is a bill that came over from the Senate. We heard it in health. It passed unanimously. This basically requires 16, 17-year-olds to have consent of a parent for giving of blood. There was actually a personal story that went along with it where high school son of one of the senators actually gave blood and then had a reaction and, long story, ended up dying from it. So obviously it was a very emotional discussion we had in the Senate, for the Senate bill in House Health. I would ask for your support of this bill so we can pass it along. To my knowledge, there's no one objecting to it. The American Red Cross and others have been working with the bill sponsors and support it as well.
Further discussion, further debate? If not, the question for the House is the passage of